So we're gonna go ahead and begin our businessman taper haircut and style, inspired by the NC Barber Board exam. So first thing we want to do is we want to detangle the hair. We want to make sure we comb in the hair. We want to comb the hair, and the reason why we detangle the hair so it could be easy for management purposes. So it's just want to make sure the hair is damp as well, but it just makes it easier for control purposes. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to section off our sections here. We're going to section off our interior, what we call the interior, so the top of the head, right at the parietal ridge, using that as a guide, as a reference. So we're going to part off our interior, and anything below our occipital bone, hat band, horseshoe, depending on how you identified in your school or your area, but basically around that the parietal ridge area, we want to section off the top part. That would be what I'm doing now. That is actually the interior, and then anything below would be the exterior. So this next step I'm going to show you after parting off the interior here is to think of it as an opportunity, way to be able to have more control. I know sometimes we have a tendency as barbers, if you're not that comfortable dealing with longer hair, shear work, I like to joke with students, like, too much longer hair, feel like you're lost in the forest, right? So we're just going to clip off our exterior here around the ears here, just to give us a little more control. All right, so we're going to go ahead and tackle this interior here. We want to go ahead and begin setting our guide for this haircut. Again, this cut is a businessman taper haircut. This particular one is inspired by the NC Barber Board. So now we're going to create our first subsection parting, or we have to call out around here our landing strip to be our guide for our interior. So we want to go ahead and create our guide here. I actually call it the mohawk. See that little mohawk around the top. This is going to be our guide, and it could be about 1 inch wide, maybe a little longer, but depending on how confident you are, how comfortable you are with your shear work. Remember, the main purpose of parting is for control purposes. So now we want to go ahead and get our shears. We'll go ahead and palm our shears in the comb. We're going to go ahead and start setting our guide. And there's various types of shears out there. Just made a notice I mentioned about the wet shears. You also have what they consider dry cutting shears. So for this one, because the hair is wet, obviously we want to use the wet cutting shears. All right. So again, just a bonus for in North Carolina, if you decide you want to use this haircut for inspiration, you would need to cut down to 3 inches. So now we're in part 2. This is our foundation. So we already started off with creating our framing. We framed it all out. Now we're gonna create our foundation here. So now we're going to just take this guide. We're gonna now travel with this guide. So we're gonna travel from the top of the head, and we're gonna travel all the way to the front. Super easy. And we're gonna do about a comb width at a time. And as we get closer to the front, we want to over direct the front just for styling purposes. So we're going to pull that back into our guide at the top of the head. This will help us with those styles like, pompadours or comb overs. And as you can see, you already can see some volume created right there in the middle. So this is our guide. That section is our guide. So now we want to split that in half. And we're going to split our interior into 2 parts, right and left side. Okay. Too easy. That's what I like to say. Too easy. Learning something new is too easy. So now we're going to make our subsection in on the top, using our guide there in the center, and we're going to cut to our guide. And we're going to take about a comb width subsections, and we're going to travel to the back. You might have seen some barber stylists that comb back to their subsection. You can do that as well. You just want to comb back, again, a comb width. And for beginners and someone still practicing, getting used to their shear work, the key to mastering it is, for starting out, with smaller subsections. Maybe more partings, but you have more control and your cut is more accurate. Now we know we're in the mannequin here, and this is a great mannequin here by one of my favorites by Pivot Point, but you do want to keep in mind this is a real live model. When you start getting towards the back of the head, don't forget that cowlick area. And we'll do another video just on how to tackle the cowlicks, but this time we sticking with the businessman taper haircut, and we're just going to imagine that this was a real client. They just had the perfect hair. They had no cowlick. Right. So now we're going to complete it one side. Now we're going to go to the opposite side. Now we're going to, again, still like we did on the previous side, we want to still follow our guide. So now we use our center guide because I am on my client's left side, right-handed. I'll be cutting from my guide in the center versus the opposite side who's cutting to the guide. Now I've always heard I cheat because my fingers are longer. You try to say I must be passing my second knuckle, and there's a couple times I do pass my second knuckle, but guess what? For any of the students that may be watching, or maybe even some apprentices, I got a secret for you. A lot of seasoned professionals go past the second knuckle, but don't tell nobody. All right. Now the goal for this haircut should be, you should be aiming. If you want to aim or you want to challenge yourself, your goal should be 35 to 40 minutes. Maybe even faster. But you want to shoot for 30 to 45 minutes starting out. Because like anything else, practice makes perfect. The more you do this cut, the faster you will get. Too easy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up the top of the head here. We're going around to the back. And don't worry about any of the hair that's lower because we're going to tackle that here shortly because remember, we'll be using our clippers and shears. So we're going to be doing what they call like a bi-level haircut. We're combining the two. So we're going to continue taking this around to the back. Try to make clean partings. You want to make sure that the guide is traveling with you. Should be able to see right through the hair. And that's the advantage of making smaller parts. You can actually see your guide better. All right. So now we're going to continue following our guide all the way around. Back to the top of the back of the hair around that crown area. All right, so now we completed our interior. So now we're going to start working our way down to the exterior. And what we're going to do, we're going to use the top section as our guide. And now we're going to begin our tapering. So there's various ways you can do this particular technique. I'm going to just show you shear over finger. We're going to do palm to palm because ergonomically it's more, it's better. So what we're going to do is we're going to just angle our fingers to a 30-45 degree angle. And now we'll begin our taper. And we're going to continue taking that quarter to half inch partings all the way around the head. A trick you can do to help you with your 30-45, you can always, when you begin your palming technique, use your second knuckle and angle that with the head to create your 45. All right. So we're going to go all the way around. So you see here, you just bend your second knuckle and just you can always use your mirror. You just want to see that 45 or that triangle shape. All right. It's just taking us down to that tapering that we're looking for. doing that gradual blend. So we basically are fading downward at this point. Let's see here. Boom, 45. All right. Just the tip of the fingers to go to your guide and create that 45-degree angle, 30 to 45. Again, this is helping us with our starting our tapering to the sides. Going to the opposite side, continue doing, and don't worry about the hair below that occipital bone area. We'll be tackling that shortly. So as you can see, just from looking at that, changing the angle, that's our taper. All right. Now I will tell you for this demonstration, I am doing it because I'm trying to time myself to as fast as possible. So of course, the slower you go, the more detail you want to be. But it's just a quick demonstration. Carry this all the way around to the opposite side. Continue that same angle. Make sure the hair is straight. Coming straight out from the head towards you. Too easy. Anything in life takes practice, but too easy. You can also use your comb as your cutting line or your guide. You can take your comb and aim at your comb 45. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and tackle the front or the fringe area or bang area. Just gonna clean that up some. And again, this is just this particular cut I was doing, actually pretending as if I was taking a state board. This would be the cut I would attempt to do. You can, if you wanted to add, and this is just some more advanced, if you wanted to add a little more style on the front, you could actually point cut that fringe area, but that is in another video. We'll talk about the different texturizing techniques that you can do in a haircut. So now we want to blow dry the hair. And I didn't blow dry to 100%, just enough to still style it. I actually applied some product as well, some cream, some low matte cream, hair cream. So I want to continue blow drying. I want to protect the hair and begin styling our interior. So we got that part out the way. All right. So now we're going to continue blending down with our clippers. So we're going to take our Magic 8, number 8 guard. And we're going to go against the grain. And we're going to go all the way up, creating a vertical line. We're going to go above what I have in the picture here, above what's called a green zone. And I'll leave a copy of these zone pictures or these head sheets inside the for you as well. So we want to make a diagonal line. As you're going up, scooping out, you continue that same diagonal line we created with our shears. We're picking it up with our clippers. So we're going straight up to that occipital bone and scooping out, making a large C above that green zone area. Basically right around on the parietal ridge and down on the occipital bone area. And we're going to repeat on the opposite side. So we take our 8, so run it up, and you know 8, if you're not familiar with the number 8 guard, it leaves behind 1 inch. So think about it, do the math. We just did 3 inches on top. Doing this diagonal cut is now 1 inch on the side, and as we scoop out, is to make a large C. As we're scooping out, it's creating, as we rotate away from the head, it's going from 1 inch, 2 inch to that 3 that we started bringing down from the interior. So we want to repeat, keeping it below the occipital bone. So now we're going to drop down even lower. We're going to go to a 4. All right, so I'm going to take us around that yellow and purple zone here. And it's around the ears and in the nape area. And again, as we rotate out, leave it from a 4. And you can imagine with a large C, turns to 4, and the further away from the head, so we got 4, 5, 6 that'll blend into, taking us to that 8 as we scooping up. And because we did an 8, we want to use half of that guard, half the size guard to go with it to smooth it out. So we're taking the 4 and smoothing out the areas that we did with the 8, since we have the 4 in our hand. That's how we're able to make just 3 guards work for us. So now we're gonna do a 1.5. I'll have it open. You can also use a 2 guard close. Be scooping out, just focusing in that red zone and that basically in the nape area. I'm doing the side view here for you can see we're doing what I call shorter C's. Just right in there, and you may see a little bit of hangover there, but we'll tackle that. Just close it up to the very bottom of the hairline. Now I'm opening it back up and I'm raking, I call it raking. I'm smoothing out that little weight you saw. And we want to repeat around the ears. Getting the hair up the ear and the sideburn area. Again, we're going against the grain, doing that toe to heel, some people call it, or the feather stroke or the C stroke. Whichever one works for you. We're going to repeat it again on the sideburns on the opposite side and around the ear. Just mainly focusing on the hairline, you may notice. Okay? Beveling around the ears. When I say beveling, you may notice the clip is like a 45. So now we're in our final stage for the detailing. Remember, it's 3 parts. We have a framing, a foundation, and now we're in the final phase, which is the fun part, is the detailing. Make that magic happen, pull it all together. All right, so that's some of that lighting. You may think it looks shorter than it was, but it's actually longer than you may think. On the sides, the light made it look thinner. So now we're in the freehand, free form, the shape. As you can see our tapering happening at the sideburns from the ear. And now we're gonna do our scoping, designing. So we wanna just get a nice shape, create that nice squared, more like a triangle. Between the triangle and square, I guess that would be what? A trapezoid. Because typically when we do men cuts, we want more of a square form, considered to be more flattering. So we're just going to freehand the shape. No worries, you know your clippers is your electrical shears, as some may know. So I'm going to comb it out again so you can see that it will stay in place. We're just going to freehand. I'm just doing a little cleanup there at the neck. I'm not putting a hard line. Kind of open it up just to get it a little cleaned up. I'm just going to freehand all the way around. And I'm going to use my clippers to shape versus my my trimmers. Because your clippers blades a lot tougher than your trimmer blade on a mannequin, that is. It would have been a live model, I would have used a trimmer. So as we see, we're going to keep shaping, checking your mirror. I don't have a mirror, so you all got to be a mirror for me. So I'm just using the mirror right now, just kind of just shaping. And I'm throwing some product in there for the styling part. Some time, make it look good. We got a little bit of product, a little cream. And I'm going to now use either a styling brush, a roll brush, a round brush. But I'm using a wide tooth comb because I want to keep that kind of square form. Right? But I'm just taking a wide tooth comb and bending it and be able to give us that lift in the front. Like I said, it helps keep that kind of square, flat top look for this pompadour. Too easy. Now, is this haircut perfect? No, but it's quick. It's a quick, simple taper cut. Again, this demonstration was inspired by the exam, but it can actually be adopted into your services offered. If you want to, you can then apply some hairspray, and you're done. Too easy. A businessman taper haircut.